and welcome back everyone to the Challenge All-Stars 4 player previews, breakdown, discussion, and prediction video series where we're going through every single person on the Challenge All-Stars 4 cast list in alphabetical order. In this part, we'll be talking about Brandon, Cara, Derek, Flora, and Janelle, going through their stats and trying to see how well they stack up against one another, as well as the entire cast in general, to see how well they could do on this upcoming season of the Challenge All-Stars, premiering on April 10th. So without further ado, let's jump in with Brandon, who is making his challenge return, as the last time we saw him was season 25, Free Agents, which was 10 years ago? Wow. Now that's not to say Brandon hasn't been getting ready for another challenge in between 2014 to now, because he was called to be an alternate for the Challenge All-Stars 2, but wasn't used. So he knew it was going to be a matter of time before making his All-Stars debut. I've always liked Brandon and wanted him back for some time. I am optimistic as he's coming in with some friends like Cara, Laurel, and Leroy. But when looking at his challenge career stats, it hasn't been an easy road for him. Brandon has never made it past episode 6 of any of his 5 seasons he's played. Normally he makes it 4 episodes before getting eliminated, and really he only made it as far as he did in season 20 because he won 3 eliminations before going up against Derek K. Speaking of his elimination record, Brandon has 3 wins and 4 losses. He has won an elimination against Derek C back in season 20. Fun fact, Brandon has only lost to challenge champions in eliminations. Well, champs and PBR. I am personally excited for Brandon, and I think he can take on most of the challenge competitors on the men's side in eliminations. But given his track record, I'm kinda nervous. I'm gonna put Brandon around number 5 for the guys, slightly above the middle of the pack, but not by much. Cara Maria is making her long-awaited return to playing on a challenge season. And I wanna be very clear. I have Cara at the top of my list for the Challenge All-Stars 4. She is coming in being one of the most experienced competitors in seasons, eliminations, finals, championships. I've talked about other competitors being away from the challenge for years as a con, but I think it is a pro for Cara Maria. Last time we saw her, it felt like she was taking things very personally when she did so many seasons in a row. Now she's coming in after some time off, in a better mindset, and ready to get back to her winning ways. The only barrier I see in Cara's way is Laurel. They look chummy on the Challenge 39 reunion, but the All-Stars season was played way before that filmed, and the promos make it look like things between them will be intense with everything surrounding Nicole. Also, Laurel has seemed to have gotten the better of Cara when they played in eliminations one-on-one with each other. Free Agents, Cara had a broken wrist, so that makes things murky, but then they played balls in on Invasion of the Champions. Laurel outmuscled Cara, and won. But that's one person on this cast I worry about with Cara. Anyone else, I have full trust and faith Cara would be able to overcome anyone in the elimination arena. She'll have connections, some friends, some rivals. Cara has proven she can overcome whatever adversity is thrown her way. I have Cara ranked tied for the top spot on the women's side. I truly think there's nothing stopping Cara from making the finals on All-Stars 4. We'll get back to the video very soon. I first wanted to take some time to say thank you so much for watching this video. But if you would like to support me and the channel further, you can go over to patreon.com/angelcakevids. Over at Patreon, there is a ton of exclusive content, ranging from exit interviews, one-on-one interviews, weekly live streams, premiere challenge content, commentary videos, watch parties, access to challenge fantasy games, and much more. So if you like the content that I'm creating and would like more of it, then please consider checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you again for watching and supporting the channel, and now back to the video. Derek, who is returning to the Challenge All-Stars after his brief stint on All-Stars 2. Derek is another very young player. I hate to keep bringing up age, but it seems to be quite an advantage more on All-Stars than any other spinoff. We'll see if that's the case for this season as it was for the previous 3. Outside of Derek's young age, it's kinda difficult to pinpoint how well he could do this season. Looking at his other 4 seasons, he does not have the best track record, with early exits in season 20, 24, and All-Stars 2, which means he didn't make it past the 3rd episode in any of those seasons. The farthest he's ever made it was episode 11 in Battle of the Seasons 2012, season 23. He's coming in with his closest ally being Jasmine, which I'm assuming since they were on the same real world season together. I mentioned Derek played on All Stars 2, and some people on that season are on this season as well. It's just, did Derek make the strong enough connections in that short amount of time to have enough friends behind him this season? If Ace's stats and Brandon's stats in their challenge careers worry me, the same goes for Derek. I trust Derek can make it past episode 3, but each episode after that mark, I'd be losing more and more faith on how much longer he'd last in the game. If John A was on this season with Derek and Jasmine, I think I'd feel better about their chances being in a trio, but looking at the cast and past history, I unfortunately have Derek in the bottom 5 of the men's side. Specifically, I have him at number 9, so he's on the cusp of lower mid, but top end bottom 5. I give him some edge for his age, and also playing on All Stars before. Next, we have Flora. Talk about someone we have no read on. Truly the wildest of all wild cards. The last time we saw Flora on the challenge was Battle of the Seasons 2002, 22 years ago. The only people on that season to also be on All Stars 4 are Adam and Veronica. Flora has very limited experience on the challenge, never been in an elimination game, as they voted people off on her one and only season. With her limited connections, a pro could be little baggage with anyone, and the con could be the house seeing her as a quote-unquote easy vote for elimination to not ruffle any feathers in the house. Flora coming into All-Stars kind of reminds me of her real-world Miami castmate Cynthia from All-Stars 3. She came back from a long hiatus, jumped into All-Stars, where she was sent directly into the first elimination. Flora has a bigger-than-life personality who isn't going to be playing up for the cameras. She did an interview with Mike Lewis a while back, and she talked about how the real world back then was actually reality TV. And she'll be bringing that old-school reality TV vibes back, I'm sure. I just can't guarantee how long she will be on the season. The women's cast is stacked, and Flora having a very limited challenge experience. I am sad to say I have Flora lower in my rankings, around 11th place. And the final player in this video discussion is Janelle. I'm happy to see Janelle back on the Challenge All-Stars. I was genuinely surprised to see her on the cast, remembering back to her reaction on the Challenge Mania podcast, talking about the missing 4th step in the All-Stars 2 final. She sounded so crushed that I thought it would have burned a bridge between her and the challenge. But I'm happy she's back, ready to get her hands dirty, looking for another finals run and get that championship she felt she and Darrell should have won back in All-Stars 2. The thing is that the level of competition she'll be facing this season will be tougher than All-Stars 2. Her biggest competition back in that season was Jody and the Save the Balance Alliance. Here she'll be facing off against Cara, Laurel, Cam, Rachel, Avery, and much more. Another concern with Janelle is if she can stay injury-free. In All-Stars 2, she was dealing with a very hurtful back injury. I mean, rewatching that season, she made it look like there was nothing wrong. But in her confessionals, she mentioned multiple times how brutal it was. Janelle has to bring her A-game every day going up against a cast like this. I personally will be rooting and hoping for Janelle to go far. I am just unsure. I have Janelle in the middle of the pack in my rankings around 7th for the women. But that is it for this part 2 of the Challenge All-Stars 4 player previews, predictions, breakdown, and discussions video. What do you think about these 5 players? How well do you think they stack up against each other as well as the entire cast? Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? Let me know down in the comment section below. And I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Stars content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.